All right, and welcome back to another great video. So today we are going to look at what Apache Hive Metastore is and why is it necessary? Why does it matter? Right. So in a few weeks ago, my manager asked me to connect our Springboot backend to our Hive Metastore service, right? And I was like, connect what to what? Yeah, and me being a predominantly full front-end backend engineer across my whole life, I had very less exposure to data engineering. So I had heard the name Apache Hive for the first time in my life. Right. So this is for all those people who are wondering the same thing. And what the hell is Apache Hive Metastore? So let us waste no more time and dive into it. Before that, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and click whatever buttons you see on the screen. We are at 11 for subscribers right now and just 9 shy away from our 20 subscriber mark. So man, do your bit. All right. So here I have written an article regarding the same, and we'll just go through it together and understand what this exactly means. Right. So according to Apache themselves, right, Apache Hive Metastore is a central repository of metadata for Hive tables. Now, when I read this for the first time, man, I understood shit. I understood nothing. Right. So let's break it down into something simpler. Right. Let's break it down into what we are understanding. So first, Hive Metastore is also known as HMS. So that is one thing that I grasp from here. So a Hive Metastore, HMS, is a central repository. Now, the word repository seems too technical, right? So basically, HMS is a service, right? And when something is called central, it usually means global service, which is available across all different applications in your system, right? So basically, Hive Metastore is a global service of of metadata for Hive tables. Now, I do not know what Hive tables means, right? But I do know what metadata means. So the word metadata means information about the information, right? Information about the data. So basically, Hive Metastore is a global service that provides access to metadata, that provides access to some information about the data, right? And at the end, you see the terms for Hive tables. This is what we need to understand to fully grasp the concept of Hive Metastore, right? So let's ask the next relevant question. That is, what is Apache Hive? Correct. Now, according to definition, Apache Hive is a data warehouse. So people who do not know what a data warehouse is, okay. So before that, you need to know what big data is. Now, as the word suggests, big data is data that is in large volumes, right? So it can be petabytes of data, right? So the data is in large volumes. The data is of quite variety, right? Some data might be in JSON format. It would be in different varieties. It would be of different structures. It would be of different styles, right? Even their use cases would be different. Their sources would be different. Everything, right? So the size of data is big. The volume of data is big. There's a wide diversity in the data that we have, correct? And there's a large frequency of data collection. So that data is continuously getting collected and a lot of data is present. Now this type of data is known as big data. Now these big data needs to be stored optimally and they are especially difficult to handle due to them being so big, right? So to handle this type of specific data, that is big data, a storage solution was invented, a framework for basically specially handle big data optimally. That framework is called as data warehouse. So a data warehouse is a framework built specifically to handle big data optimally. Now, one of these popular solutions, one of the most popular data warehouse solutions in the market is Apache Hadoop, right? And since Apache Hive is from Apache, so they decided to create a data warehouse using Apache Hadoop, right? So you can say Apache Hive is a solution which is based on Apache Hadoop. But for your understanding, the bare minimum bottom line you need to understand is that Apache Hive is a data warehouse which handles big data optimally. Cool. I hope this brings some clarity into picture, right? And why do we need data warehouses, right? What's the point of having such big amount of data? So the data warehouses allow you to explore, to query, to analyze, and to generate reports on this data, which is very useful and adjacent to the domain of data science, domain of machine learning, and all other fields. Anyway, now we know what Apache Hive is. So Apache Hive is basically a data warehouse, right? The next question that we had was, what are Hive tables? Correct? Okay. So as I told you, Hive is meant for users to explore data, to query this data, to analyze this data, right? But since all this data is big data in nature, is stored inside a data warehouse, right? So to query it optimally, what Hive does is Hive provides you a middle layer, a service layer, which is essentially an SQL engine. So it enables you to write SQL queries for interacting with this big data that is stored inside the data warehouse, right? Now that seems pretty obvious, right? So you have big data. In order to operate on it, in order to read it, in order to send it somewhere, having SQL queries, bringing it into a structured format would be great, right? And that is what Hive tables bring into picture. So as I said, there's an SQL engine layer which allows the user to send SQL queries to Hive, and then Hive interacts with your big data in your data warehouse. But if you remember, I told you big data is of wide diversity and is not structured at all, right? So now, since this data is not structured, you would need some way to make it structured, to understand it in a structured way for SQL queries to run, correct? To make this possible, Apache came up with the concept of Hive tables. Now, Hive tables basically understand the data in the big data in the data warehouses and make it available or represent them in a tabular format or RDBS format called Hive tables. So that is basically a Hive table, a structured format of your data, of your big data in the data warehouse. Cool. Now you know what Hive tables are, right? Okay, that does make sense. Cool. One final question, which is why we are here. What is Hive Metastore then, right? So if you remember right, what we heard was Hive Metastore is a global service that provides you with metadata for Hive tables, not of Hive tables, for Hive tables, correct? And if you think about it, you have data which is unstructured, you convert it in a structured representation called Hive tables, right? But since the data is so big, and usually in data warehouses all this information is stored in the format of files, right? So there would be CSV files, there would be JSON files, there would be like text files, there would be PDFs, it can be anything, correct? No, now, so with so many files, you need a way to track them. You need a way to fetch them optimally. So, for example, if somebody wrote an SQL query which needs a file X, I should know where the file is. I should know what databases it is, what database in my Hive tables it is connected to, what schemas it is connected to, right? Or what storage location corresponds to it, what partitions correspond to it in my Hive tables, correct? So this information, the metadata about these Hive tables or metadata about the data that is represented by Hive tables is called as Hive Metastore. It is stored by Hive Metastore. So this service allows you to not really store, but rather allows you to explore the metadata about the data stored in the data warehouse of Hive. All right. So what some basic examples are like name of the DBs, name of schemas, storage locations, partitions, indexes, etc. that are present in the Hive system. Okay, so I believe that should clarify most of the things that I said. I would just repeat once why you need Hive Metastore. We already have ran through it in some way, right? So I told you there's a data warehouse. Inside data warehouse, there's big data, which is usually built of lot of files, right? Lot of files of different variety. And since we are storing files, we generally use blob storage, maybe something such as S3 or something else. Yeah, any type of blob storage actually. Now, in order to track this large number of files efficiently, we need a system that stores information about all these files stored in your data warehouse, and that is basically Hive Metastore. Now this Hive Metastore and all the metadata provided by Hive Metastore is consumed by users as well as Hive tables to basically interact with the information inside the data warehouse very efficiently. All right, and I guess that should cover most of the things that I wanted to talk about. I'm pretty certain you will have a lot of doubts about this, and I really encourage you to post those down below and let me know what I have missed or what I should cover, or if possible, I would reply them immediately in the comments, right? I usually reply back to the comments within 24 hours. So yeah, hit the comment section, man. Cool. Thank you. Nice to meet you and see you next time.